this is, I was listening on my way over, so my heart is full. I think it's the song "Breathe," and the word is "I'm desperate for you." And I thought, Lord, that's really where a lot of us are. I was thinking my sister Susie came across, she's in Richmond, Virginia, and came across a gal she was talking to, excuse me, and the gal just seemed so hungry. The song just embodied that hunger. And she asked the question. Finally said, "Did you come out of the Jesus movement?" And the gal said, "Yes." And the hunger was there. I can't wait to talk to her. But I see what we see is a growing hunger. So this is Pat Self this morning, and with my friend Michelle. And Michelle Lee is such a special addition. So we'll each have a part to share this morning. But I want to welcome you to this time, because this time is we have a great gift this morning. My friend Marian Smith sings a song about America. I've got to make sure of that name, because I never do it. I always just say a song about America, but you'll hear it. I have to say, Michelle, what's the name of that?
It's called American Christian.
American Christian. See, I need Michelle right here this very moment.
Well, and Marian will introduce it as well.
He'll do it. And one of the great things about this song is I believe this song needs to be multiplied and magnified. We're at a time, they've done a lot about President Bush. I was very glad to hear this morning, somebody told me that if they didn't, in the meeting this morning at Sunrise Prayer Breakfast, if people didn't get Jesus out of, I gather an Episcopal priest had shared really a gospel message or a lot about Jesus during the time of Bush's homegoing and during the service. And I thought, Lord, thank you so much that out of tragedy comes triumph. And we're praying for a triumphant morning this morning. So join us as you hear this precious song and meet our other special guest this morning. Marian will lead you in something you won't forget.
Oh, I'm Marian Smith, and God has been gracious to me. At the age of 80 years, God started reigniting my music ministry. And I was introduced to this song by a couple at a conference who are Christian people. And I'd never heard it before. I thought it was new, but it was done 14 years ago by Michael Combs. And the name of the song is "I'm an American Christian." In God I will trust, and united I'll stand with my brothers and sisters all over this land. I love the Lord. I love the USA, land of the free, sweet liberty. I'm not ashamed to say I'm an American Christian, born in the USA. American Christian, born again by God's grace. And I thank God for my country, where I can worship and pray. American Christian, loving my Jesus in the USA. Now this country was founded by a few godly men, and I, as a Christian, have rights I'll defend. I love my Jesus. I love America too. And every night on my knees, I pray, dear God, please bless the red, white, and blue. I'm an American Christian, born in the USA. American Christian, born again by God's grace. And I thank God for my country, where I can worship and pray. American Christian, loving my Jesus in the USA.
Yay!
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Well, if you didn't enjoy that song, it's just stayed with me wherever I go, and I hope you enjoyed that, because it And also, if you know anybody else who needs to use that song in a program, anything that they're doing, Marian is available and would love to sing it. And when he does, it just comes out of his heart. Well, I have some precious friends that I've come to know just this last couple of weeks, and I want to introduce you to Dan and Katie Clark. They come out of the Louis Palau wonderful outreach that they're going to be doing City Fest here in Tyler, and they've left everything that they knew to come here to Tyler to be a part and help to establish a program, an outreach that will reach really literally multitudes and thousands. And the hope is for the souls that will come out of it. Well, listen to what Dan and Katie have to say. You'll love them. I'm Pat Selvin. It's good to be back with you again. We just love meeting with you every week, and just welcome so many people from all over the country that have been such a part and blessing to us. I just want you to meet some very special people here that have been a blessing to me and have come with promise. God has sent them, and they're here to fulfill. For years, I've been committed to revival since the Jesus movement in the late 60s, early 70s. Today, we're seeing the fulfillment of promises from God, and God keeps his promises. So I want to introduce you to Dan and Katie Clark, and they have much to share, and I'm just going to give it to them with joy. I love meeting them. I love their hearts. And I'm so glad we're part of the family of God together. We have a lot to look forward to. So Dan, would you introduce your precious wife? Because I can't wait to get to know her better, and that's going to be a blessing. So, and then you can share if you will.
All right, yeah. So this is my wife, Katie, and my name is Dan. We are from the Grand Rapids, Michigan area, just coming off of City Fest West Michigan, and excited to be in East Texas to be a part of City Fest East Texas. And you may not be familiar with that, but we are part of the Luis Palau Association, as well as with his son Andrew Palau. And Andrew will be here on October 5th and 6th to share the good news of Jesus Christ with all of East Texas. And so we are gathering churches together. We've been invited by 120 churches already.
It is now.
Yeah, to come in and to be a part of this. Yeah, and so we are so excited just to be a part of service and prayer and evangelism to share the gospel with people. And we are hoping that a large number will come downtown on the square of Tyler on October 5th and 6th to hear the good news. We'll have family fun zone, we'll have action sports, we'll have music, and it's going to be a come and go atmosphere. So if you aren't comfortable with going into a large building, no big deal. You're going to be outside, fresh air, and just to come and experience. And so we're encouraging the church to pray for 5 individuals in their life that may not know Jesus, because if it's just a great Christian party, we haven't done our job. Yeah, so we want people to pray and cover it with prayer and pray for their lost friends, the barista you may meet, the gym person that you might work out with, and just pray for them. And then maybe invite them to one of the festivals. We'll have a prison ministry, we'll have a women's luncheon, a men's luncheon, a Latino outreach. And so there's just a number of different things, a rodeo. So there's just a lot of opportunity to share the good news with people, and we're excited to come and be a part of it.
And you know what? It's nice to meet family, because the wonderful part of all of this is get to know each of you. When I told you when I drove over yesterday, my feeling was that it was going to be so good to see you and know you as a friend as well as business. We're not here on business, we're here about our Father's business. And that brings about a friendship and a fellowship that's very rare.
Yes.
And Katie, I have to do this to you. I'm going to give you half a moment to share, but just share one. You two made a commitment to give it this year of your life really to Tyler, and that I've been new here, and I'm thankful for the welcome that I've received on every front. But for you as new, I want to welcome you also to Tyler, Texas, from one newbie to another newbie.
Yes.
And I love it. But what would you like to share? Because this is a different role for you.
Yeah.
You know, I've said every woman needs a nest. Your nest is literally kind of on the move right now.
Right.
But what would you like to share?
From the moment that we've been here, we've just been blessed with gracious people who have been very welcoming, and it was probably one of the biggest decisions that we made in our life thus far, just because we were leaving everything that we knew, but had a calling in our heart that we needed to follow, where the Holy Spirit was leading us next. And it's of course not the easiest path It never is. But we're here and we're excited and just we're willing and open to see what God has in store for the future here in Tyler, Texas, as well as in our lives. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's an easy decision when you're following Jesus and the Holy Spirit.
When I think of Katie and what she's just shared, because I've shared this journey, there are two places that God called me out of Connecticut, out of the great Jesus movement and all the fruit and harvest of that, into Richmond, Virginia, where I knew no one, and prayed over a map, and the Lord, that's where the Lord told me to go. But He gave me the yes in my spirit. He breathed it into me, and I could breathe it out back to Him and say yes. And I remember, and just even as I've come here, how many people have said, just, you know, I just give thanks that you said yes to the Lord. And in doing so, my life has been changed. And I believe that for these two and others to follow. I met Wesley yesterday, and Wesley's a new part of the addition.
Yeah.
So our family's growing. And what I want to just say in closing is this: as I drove over this morning, I have people all over the country who've stood with me, but also have walked this journey and are the ones whose lives were transformed. And I want to say to them that your journey isn't done. And you'll say, well, what have I got to do with this? And you all well know what you've got to do with this, is to pray, to be part of it. And I've also extended invitation to friends who said, in October, put this on the map and the calendar and take a little tour and take a little bit of a trip. Invest in it now in prayer. And we've been praying about these days, friends, for so long. And we're a part of that long ago, and God is taking that torch now to light to this. And it's not just someplace distance, it's Tyler, Texas. They made a decision when they've done the world, they've made a decision for Tyler. God said to come here because He'd set before me an open door that no man could close, because there would be a great revival here, the revival that God had called for. So all of those pieces working together, we are linking in the body in different places who will see this and say, I want to be a part of that. And they're not, just because they're not in Tyler, let you make that choice. What do you want to engage in? And you can keep up on just keep going and doing what you're doing, or you can stretch and go just a little bit farther, praying for these two, praying for those who are coming in, praying for the multitudes of lives that are going to be touched this year. And at that critical moment, that's just the beginning of the day they come, and the fest, because it's from that point on. I know I'm a product of having lived the fruit of not only a man's life who lived for Jesus, but the fruit of my life being transformed. And since then, for two broken people, my husband and myself, thousands and thousands of lives have been changed. I expect that every one of those people will be multipliers as well. And that fire that was in that Jesus movement, they just found that there were people everywhere who were sharing Jesus, and they couldn't get away from it. It was so inviting. They thirsted. So I invite everybody else to be a part of that thirst and that hunger and be part of what God is doing, not only in Tyler, Texas, but throughout the country. So God bless you, and we'll look forward to talking to you further. Good to see you. Thanks,
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Well, there's so many things this morning to be able to share, and I particularly this morning wanted to give thanks as we think about city outreach. I was just sharing with Michelle, I really want to testify to God's power first, and then I want her to do some sharing with you this morning. I want to honor the incredible gift to our family as my husband, who had been out of Texas, loved God and country. He was a prodigal, and he came to love God and country like no other man I've ever known personally. Loved the Word of God with a thirst and a hunger. He lived in that Word. And as he was a part of leading me to Christ, and then we have Heather and we have Hunter now, God and country has been a part of our lives. And so Heather has announced this week that she is sadly leaving a wonderful man that she loves very dearly and has loved working for, Sheriff Smith here in Tyler, and will be working with one of our heroes, Louis Gomert. And we love Louis Gomert and Kathy, his wife, so much, and it will be such a blessing to be able to be part of Louis' team. So I really want to say how much I'm thankful for that. And then Hunter just this week got a job with Van Taylor, who was a senator here in Texas, and is now going to be a congressman, and she will be working as his scheduler, and that it was a complete miracle. These are places we've been praying, not just, God said when we came, not to pray for just a job, but pray for a calling. These to me honor the Lord and are that calling, using each of their skills and gifts. And that's what we pray for each of you, that you'll use your skills and gifts just like Michelle has, as we've said many times, for His glory and for His honor. So I have a banner morning, and when Marian sang that song about God and country, I tell you what, it just brings me home again to this great country and our freedom to be able to right now serve the Lord with all our hearts and minds and souls. So I just really am going to take time. I really want Michelle to share some answers to prayer, and there really have been. So Michelle, would you be kind enough to do that before I do another thing? You've got something that's important.
That's fine. I'm going to sneak in next to you.
Come on, sneak in here. Come on.
Just stay where you're at.
All right. Watch you sneak in. Of course, it's in your home, so
Yeah,
we make you
so we're
welcome.
just sneaking in really quick.
Right, right.
Hi. I know that several of you, we had asked to pray for my brother and for some things going on with my brother, and he was diagnosed with kidney cancer, and they weren't going to do a biopsy on him, and they were just going to take his kidney. And anyway, you know, we've been praying, and one of my prayers was specifically for them to do a biopsy, because how do you know for sure? So anyway, they did do a biopsy, and it came back negative, that it's not cancer. So because there's still some cells there, or there's something there, my parents requested another biopsy just to make sure. And they're still talking about possibly taking his kidney. So we're praying that the mass will just completely disappear, because if that's the only reason they're going to take his kidney,
Sure.
they don't need to take his kidney. So anyway, just if you would pray with us and agree with us. We've been rejoicing this week
You bet.
in
It's
the diagnosis
great
of
word.
no cancer, and so we're trusting the Lord for more,
Amen.
just to be glorified in my family's life and my brother's life, and just that He would be glorified in all of this. I mean, I am so thankful for the no cancer biopsy results.
Those
It's
words
just
are
amazing.
so glorious. They just pack
Yes.
a wallop.
Yes. So anyway, just wanted to share that because some of you have prayed with us. So anyway, back to Pat.
And, well, I tell you what, would
Oh.
you share your program again?
Oh,
During these holidays, people are struggling so deeply with this issue of food. They struggle all year long, but particularly during these holidays. And I have been, after years of searching, and I really have been so blessed, as Michelle isn't just talking, she's walking. And I want her to just tell you about this precious program. And if there's anybody, I have a few people right now who have been very ill or had injuries, putting on weight because of meds, that swell you up and put on so much weight, and you eat because you're unhappy. And a lot of us find that during this holiday, you just wind up starting to stretch for things. Listen carefully to what she has to say, and be encouraged. Be encouraged. There is hope, and I've been able to be in contact with some to let them know it's worth looking into. So I hope you will, and listen carefully, okay?
yeah, my husband and I are doing a program that actually a friend of ours had. We saw him lose like 100 pounds since January. So in September, my husband decided to try the program. And actually, I think we've shared this a couple weeks ago. We talked about this pretty in depth. But anyway, coming into the holidays, they do work with you through holidays. They teach you how to cook for the holidays so that you can stay on plan. And that way you don't have to gain the weight everybody else is gaining over the holiday season. And you can still behave yourself and not lose any progress that you've been making. So anyway, please just contact me or leave a note in the comments if you want to know more about it.
And what's the name of it?
It's called Optavia is the name of the program.
And you'll be coaching.
And yes, I will be coaching. So you can just sign up on the website, but then you're assigned a random coach if you just sign up yourself. So if you're interested and you would really like to do it, I would love to coach you. Our coach has been huge for our success. I mean, he's just really encouraging. And so anyway, that's all the time. I don't really want to take up any more time talking about it today, since we already did like an entire program
we have.
about it.
But what we'll do
coming into the holidays, definitely, if you guys want to
is...
give yourself a Merry Christmas present that will last you a
Boy,
lifetime.
is that the truth?
Yeah, it's completely about getting healthy.
I would love to
So.
give a month, literally. If I could do that, give a month to somebody and say, I would bless you in that.
Yes.
The other thing, and I'll let you go with that.
Yeah.
The other thing is that we'll have Michelle list the week that she was on, the number to go to. We have previous programs. We pray that you'll look at those previous programs and get a chance to watch some of the other things that we've been doing. But she can list the ones that the one that she was on, so that you can get a fuller account of that information. I'm sending some to Louisiana and some other states, and I hope that you would be encouraged. The story I told Michelle was, I had a friend of mine who was a very big gal anyway, about maybe almost 5'10" or something, but also very, 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 very heavy. And she told me a story that stayed with me, I'm sure, for over 30-something years. And she said, Pat, she said, if you can tell me how I could lose weight, I have a lot of friends who'd come to Jesus. And that just stopped me in my tracks. I had no answer at that point. But she said, truthfully, she said, a lot of us are really unhappy, so we spend our time together, really not with others so much, because we're accepting of each other as we are right now. But she said, each one of us are hurting and looking for answers. And I know that their lives would be changed if I could provide an answer for them. I had no answer at that point, but I never stopped looking. Never, because I know the battle when you put on even, a lot of people think you have to have a lot of weight. Let me say this, for anybody who's smaller, 5 pounds in the wrong places, you begin to be unhappy. And you just, some people say, well, you don't need that. And I think, yes, you do. You need to have some good patterns to get started off on the right foot. So please take advantage of that. And the nice thing is Michelle is right here in Tyler and can answer you quickly. And let us know, first of all, if you do this, and let us know what your results are. And all the TV programs give a prize. We're not going to give a prize. The prize for you is what you do to take charge of your own life and take care of that temple that God has protectively doing. So just know we'll be back to you shortly, and we look forward to seeing you in these next weeks. God bless you as you prepare for not holidays, but the time of Christ's birth and all that it means to us because of the price of the cross that finally came. God bless you and take good care. We love you. See you soon. Bye-bye.